Gil de Ferran, lovely to see you again, Gil.
Good to see
Go
you,
back
Peter.
a long way.
I know.
And I'm so pleased that it
30
did all,
years or something like that. Yeah.
But I'm so pleased it did all
30
happen
years,
from you
yeah.
because British Formula 3 is one thing. You can go
Yeah.
in a number of directions from
Yeah.
there. And it did happen for you. No regrets, I would guess. Indy 500 win, 2 American championships.
It's been a great life, Peter. You know, I could never imagine, you know, as a young boy starting out in Brazil doing some karting, to have had the life in motor racing that I've had has really been fantastic.
And now let's look ahead.
Yeah.
Looking fit and well for a start. Based in the States, based in Florida.
It's because it's cropping here, you know.
No, he's looking very good, believe me.
Thank you.
But you were very much involved with Fernando's attempt to win Indy last year. Tell us about that and how that worked from your point of view. And he did such a good job.
Yeah, it was a great experience, really. I mean, it was a bit, shall we say, you know, by accident in a way. I've known Zach for many years. You know, I knew Fernando, but you know, essentially when I was working in F1 about 10 years ago, just hey, how are you? But I never had a relationship with him in any way. So when they announced, I sent a note to Zach and said, hey, Zach, you know, congratulations. Let me know if I can do anything for you, you know. And sure enough, you know, they asked me to help Fernando. And there was a lot of people that I knew that also knew Fernando. I think that helped. So they retained my services to help him out. It was a lot of fun.
They were lucky to have you.
Yeah.
Specific point. I spoke to Fernando when the announcement happened, and we were talking about in Formula One. It's quite characteristic as this quite violent initial turn-in. That's the way he drives. Then he just beautifully balances the car with hand and footwork. That's his trademark. How did it go in Indy in his first laps? Was he consciously thinking, I've got to be very, very gentle on initial turn-in? Was that something you had to work at?
Peter, you know, I took a different approach. You know, I guess you could say that I was coaching him, but I figured that I wasn't really going to teach a guy who I consider to be probably one of the best drivers we've ever seen, you know.
You're going to let him feel the
Yeah, I
thing
wasn't going to teach him how to feel the car and so on. I figured he's got enough talent that he can feel the tires and he can get feedback from the car and so on and so forth. So my approach was more about highlighting differences and new things that he may encounter
within the system.
Within being a road racer, he probably never came across, to help him speed up his understanding of the environment that he was in. So, you know, of course, first time you go in the car, you go, okay, well, be careful with X, Y, and Z, you know, but then you got to let the guy do his own thing, you know, and he's certainly talented enough to really get a feel for these things, and clearly he didn't do anything stupid, and he did a fantastic job.
He did a great job. Do that for us again, Gil. Can we close up on his Indy 500 winner's ring here, which he's wearing, which you see on a Mario Andretti, you see on a few of them. It's very nice, isn't it?
Thank
you wear that every day?
Do you want to have it?
I love it. I've got my wedding ring.
Okay.
But you wear it every day?
Yeah, no, I don't wear it.
Well, we're honoured to have it here.
Just certain functions.
But on that note,
motor racing functions.
And let's moving swiftly now to Juan Pablo Montoya, who is one of your neighbours and is racing still for Penske in sports cars with the new Acura program.
Yeah.
Why isn't Gil de Ferran doing that as well?
Because Gil de Ferran is old and out of shape and have no interest in doing this kind of thing. Nah, honestly, Peter, you know, when I finished my stint here as a F1 sporting director for Honda, they asked me to run a sports car program in America, which we did, and that was just before the financial crisis. And even then, I wasn't really looking for a job as a racing driver. You know, I stepped back into the cockpit for about a year and a half because I figured that could help my team at the time. And, you know, developing cars is something that I always enjoyed.
Yeah.
And once, you know, the crisis came and we had to stop the program, and since then, honestly, I had zero interest in doing any full-time driving. I like to have fun now and then, but that's
okay. Well, tell us how you have fun now and then.
You know, I have cars. I have friends that have some fun cars. You know, some prototypes and different things. You know, and they come to Florida, which is, by the way, a great place to be there in the winter. You know, so everybody descends to Florida and go have fun on the track, and then
you've got a real
sometimes
enclave where you live, right? Give us some of the names of some of your neighbors.
You got Helio Castroneves, Tony Canan, Juan Montoya, Ryan Hunter-Reay. There's a whole bunch.
And that's just the race drivers. For sure, you got tennis players, golfers, the whole thing.
Exactly. To be honest, you know, not that I want to oversell Florida, but particularly in the northern hemisphere winter, which is, I would say, obviously now, but from October until March, South Florida is the place to be.
And we also have Trevor Carlin there with his
Trevor's there.
operation. Yeah. That's an interesting one too, that he decided to base it there.
Yeah.
And I was chatting to him.
I can totally see why.
Yeah, well, he said that it's like, for the guys who are working for him in Europe, it's like, one day we want to be promoted to work in Florida. We want that gig.
Yeah.
And it's a good incentive for the European employees, and it's a good operation for him.
No, it's a great place. It's very cosmopolitan, and it's easy to get to South America, easy to get to Europe or anywhere in the US.
Tell me the future of IndyCar at the moment on the world stage.
Yeah.
I don't just mean as an entity, relative to NASCAR, relative to Formula One. Where's it going? What's the potential? How big can it be again, do you think?
I will answer this a long way around, as I typically do. I think you have to look historically, you know, where it has been, you know, and I think you have to look at motorsports as a whole, you know. Or should we say top-end professional motorsports as a whole. I mean, it's clear to me that probably in, you know, early to mid to probably late 90s, I think that was, I think probably the peak of IndyCar in relation to NASCAR and Formula One. I don't know about you, but I consider those three series probably the top three series in the world. Yeah. You know, all the series have
Alan
come.
Gow would say British Touring Car Championship as well,
which, by the way, is a great series.
It is a great series.
But in the world stage and how fast the cars are and how the level of the drivers and money, I guess, you know, the whole series moves. And nowadays you have Formula E, you know, and all the new things, which I love, you know. So, you know, since the sport split in '96, came back together about 12 years later. It's been together for about 10 years. And I think they've been right in the ship. You know, to me, the whole split was very damaging to the sport because I think IndyCar had a very unique brand, you know, which was, shall we say, trying to find words to describe it, but it was very unique and different than Formula One in my mind. And I think the split made it lose its brand a little bit, and since then it's been trying to find his own niche.
Do you like the look of the new car?
I do like it. You know, obviously they had a, shall we say, a tight box to work with because they the same chassis is the same, engine is the same, gearbox is the same, suspension is the same, so they couldn't completely reinvent the car. But I think they've done a good job. You know.
Just on a finishing note, what is the fastest single lap you ever drove in IndyCar, even in testing. I want to make my eyes water even more. Now.
So here's a little bit of trivia for you.
Yeah.
I'm still the world close course speed record holder at 241 miles an hour average. Yeah, and that happened 2000.
That was the average. What was the quickest individual lap?
I think it was a little bit quicker than that in practice.
Well, it would have to be.
Yeah, a little bit quicker than that. It was like 242 something, you know.
And do you ever, 3 o'clock in the morning, you suddenly wake up in the middle of Florida thinking, how did I do that? Did I really do that?
You know, people got smarter since, you know, the cars are
Where was that?
In Fontana, California, you know. And it was interesting because it was a Honda engine, which Honda at the time built the best engines. They were amazing. And when I came back to work in Formula One in 07, you know, this is 6 years later, 7 years later, one of the guys that were a key guy in Honda then was also working in the F1 program. So, you know, after a few drinks one evening, I asked him, I said, how much power? He said, oh, Gilson, I can't tell you. Come on, it's been so long, but it had over 1,020 horsepower. Wow. It was an amazing thing to drive.
The smell of methanol, I can smell it even now.
It was
now,
beautiful.
Gilles, down the road here in the engineering section, there's the new Bloodhound car.
Okay.
Now, as the holder of the world's closed speed record, I think you should also be in the Bloodhound with Andy Green. You know that's going to do 1,000 miles an hour. I can't think of a better synergy.
I have no interest in that whatsoever, Peter. Why don't you do that?
It's a straight line.
I've seen you drive. You're a talented guy.
It's a straight line.
See, I only do well in corners, actually.
When he gets to 750 miles an hour, he puts in the second rocket.
Yeah.
And then that's flat out for another 15 seconds. Wouldn't you like that feeling?
No, I had enough thrills to last me for a lifetime. Thank you.